Welcome to OWAD. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking Neolithic character. And when we talk about China, I guess Chinese cultural or technological contributions to the world, one of them is silk, right? We talked about silk yesterday, and today is a little bit about the technology behind silk, which is the silkworm's main food source, some mulberry tree. Okay, mulberry sounds like a berry, right? But mulberry, mostly the leaves of mulberries is the food source for silkworms. And that used to be a trade secret for a long time. Some is, if you look at a traditional versus Chinese, simplified Chinese, they look the same. And that kind of says, okay, it's as simplified as possible already. And when you look at a 2,000 years ago dictionary, which is based on the script Chinese, it looks like this. It has more visual interest in that versus the current contemporary Chinese is more rectangular. It's streamlined for the ease of writing, handwriting. The ancient forms, it tells more, it preserves more of its visual storytelling. So the bottom is a tree symbol, canopy, root, connected trunk. And you notice it's not exactly mirror image or symmetrical of the canopy of the tree above the ground versus the bottom, the root of the tree, the invisible part of the tree. Chinese actually recognize the tree as a whole unit consists of the above ground and below the ground, two portions, and the below ground actually got to be bigger than the above the ground. I'm thinking probably is because the root of the tree need to be deeply rooted so that it's firm enough to hold the top part of the tree to be more wind resistant, right? Okay, anyways, the top three symbols stack up together. Okay, Chinese like to repeat sounds sometimes and also like to repeat the icons. Three finger hand symbol here, repeated three times in this triangle shape. So at the bottom layer, two of them, the top is one. I mean, visually it's more stable, right? When we want to repeat something in three times, well, I have to take it back. In contemporary visual cues for people, navigation of the user interface, three dots place all one next to each other. It's like this, right? Three dots like that. Instead of like Chinese, we have three something, we have the middle one right on top of the other two. There is a different treatment there. So I cannot say it in absolute terms. Just the ancient Chinese treatment of repeating three times, we would place in this triangular shape. So when it says three, it's actually exponentially different. It's not just three as we count one, two, three. It's thousands of those. Okay, so the three finger hand symbol on top of a tree, that becomes okay, a little bit imagination there. According to dictionary, because the top portion is actually its own word, even if in today's language we have this means you means again, and when we have two of them, actually your same hand right next to each other, wait, that means 双. Okay, that means double-handed. So you double dip something. So that's a 双 in a pair. Okay. And when you have three stacking up in this triangular shape, I don't see that often in contemporary Chinese at all. And in fact, I don't know how to say it until I check it out for this episode. It's 弱, 弱. And it's said, according to the dictionary, a legendary tree in ancient times. So a legendary tree. So that means it may not be true, or it may be lost in history. That the record of that particular tree, there's a rule, three hand symbol in there, referred to is lost. Like we lost track of that tree. So it eventually became a legend. or this tree got transformed and into some other species or subspecies of the tree. And now in mulberry tree, we have that in heritage. This rule, this ancient legendary tree, shows up on top of this wood structure that gave us mulberry. So mulberry, song in Chinese, is a very popular tree. I know we associate Chinese culture with bamboos, right? But some, because of silkworm, we may not hear about silkworm eating mulberry that much, right? Because it was meant to be kept as a secret. But some was from head to toe, this tree we can use in all kinds of ways. So in a way, it's a staple to form Chinese landscape agriculture, and in this case, it's called a sericulture, right? The fiber production from silkworms, and furniture, home decor, and all that. And I know as a fact, I checked on ChatGPT. I also personally tasted mulberry tree. Turned out Koreans, even today, include mulberry leaves in their diet. They eat it. I had it once. It's kind of like, what is it called? Peppermint. Kind of like a peppermint. In Vietnamese culture, they eat peppermint a lot. But mulberry is Koreans' diet choice. And it's very refreshing and supposed to be very good for you in all kinds of ways. I don't know why it's not as popular in American standard diet. But it's supposed to be, it tastes good and it's good for you. So why not popular? Go figure. And has been so in ancient times. As we can see, silkworms eat it, humans too. So expressions, 指桑骂槐, I talked about this one years ago. It means pointing at a mulberry tree, kind of finger pointing, right? Blaming. You pointing at the mulberry tree, but you're actually yelling at sulphur. So white is another type of tree. It's a different type of tree. Probably not as beloved as song. So song in this case, almost so both trees here symbolize personification of the type of personality, I guess. So mulberry is all useful, all kind, all supportive, versus white probably not so much. It's probably harder to deal with person, something that like that. So it means somebody who is so angry about a person, like symbolized as sulphur tree, but that person does not dare to directly confront that person. Instead, this person is pointing at a mulberry tree, kind of scolding this mulberry, let it out on the mulberry tree. But the intent is to attack the sulphur tree. I guess that human phenomenon is well observed, documented by here, and that I guess office politics saying has been repeated thousands of years. Okay, 沧海桑田. So a few episodes ago, we talked about 沧海一粟. 沧海means deep, dark colored sea. Big body of water that can create that darkness, right? And then 桑田, mulberry tree. Two imagery right next to each other. What does it mean? A missing part here is the transition. We miss a word there. That's a bit. That means change. Dark sea changed into mulberry tree field. So mulberry field represent agriculture. So this means this piece of land used to be this dark sea. And now it's transformed the topography of this local region changed. Sea became a mountain and became mulberry tree. So it gave you a sense of a transformation, huge landscape change, completely scenery change. Chinese uses expression 沧海桑田 to mean the change of landscape, the change of time, and almost like the change of the context of our existence. Oftentimes, we would use 沧海, 桑田 to describe the sense of displacement, I guess. Like for me, I've been in the US for decades almost. And then when I go back to China, to my hometown, I haven't been there for decades. And if I go there, I would have felt 沧海桑田. It's like such a big change that I wouldn't recognize the place. But okay, the truth, the reality is probably it won't change that much. At least the river, our hometown is probably still there, just some architectural change, facade change. But here, 沧海桑田 probably gave you a longer time scale so that even the ocean changed to farm field. And not only just regular farm field, probably it takes time to grow mulberry trees. So when you see mulberry field, that means it's a longer farm field conversion. Okay, 桑间月下. Okay, as a Chinese, when we see 月下, okay, because of 月, moon, this lunar energy, was symbolized in Chinese culture as something related to matchmaking. Okay, we have 月老, this legendary figure of old man connecting to young person, kind of matchmaking like that. And 桑间月下, so 月 oftentimes is related to something related to matchmaking, to dating. 桑间, mulberry field. Okay, without checking it, I wouldn't know. But 桑间, apparently in ancient times, this mulberry tree field. So you can probably visualize it as a forest. But this forest is this big tall trees of mulberry trees that's very leafy. And because it's grown as domesticated tree, it's not for scenery, it's for production. Silkworms, so all kinds of uses out of the tree. It's going to be densely sort of populated. So it actually provides a sort of privacy, almost like a forest or in a public park with lots of trees, and people get in there to get into the woods to disappear themselves, to have some privacy over there. So it turned out it's an observation of ancient times phenomenon of, I guess, unmarried or even external marital, something not acknowledged or authenticated, authorized or approved by the culture of man, woman, illegally, not socially appropriately, disappear into mulberry field. So that's their the ancient time solution. It turned out. So when we pair 桑间, it has something related to make out place, and the 月下 has something related to matchmaking, and you can piece these two parts together to figure, okay, this is something related to ancient times, man and woman, to find a solution to have some privacy over there, either socially approved or non-approved. In today, it's probably nobody gave a anything, right? But in ancient times, it was a big deal. So they have to find a space for that. So that's mulberry song. Thank you for your time. See you another day.